Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horror Vision Horror Podcast. My name is Sean,
And I'm Missy.
and we're here to tell you about the dangers of Valentine's Day because that's coming up. And I don't know, if you're following the news, 2 years ago, the HEK, the Heart Eye Killer, began killing couples in public places for excessive PDAs, public displays of affection. So, if you're on the bus and you feel like sticking your tongue down your significant other's throat, maybe don't on the 14th. And if somebody had maybe just talked that kind of sense into the people in this movie, then maybe nobody would have actually died. But instead, well, first of all, I fully believe, in 2025, the people will be like, fuck that shit. I'm going to do whatever the fuck. Oh, wow, somebody stabbed me.
Right.
We're going to be spoiler free. Missy, how did you feel about HEK?
I really liked it. I thought it was a really fun, really festive holiday slasher, and I love festive horror. Um, it's also good. I don't know if there's actually a term for it. I just call it smush horror, where they take a slasher and something else and smush them together.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
know,
like
like
that.
yeah, like Freaky and It's a Wonderful Knife and Happy Death Day, which I mean, some of the writers from those movies were involved with this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it's not surprising, but this takes a slasher and a rom-com and smushes them together. I hate rom-coms. I hate them, but this was actually done in a way like feel it. I feel like it's done real smart. Um, it's done with a lot of horror veterans and it plays to a horror crowd. I mean, I saw elements of My Bloody Valentine, Scream, Friday
Definitely.
the 13th, Thanksgiving. Um, it's got a snarky sense of humor, a pretty decent body count, and I love the mask. I have a minor issue with the movie, but during the payoff, but it didn't really detract from my viewing of it.
Okay.
Um, it's one I will probably it will become part of my yearly festive. It'll become one of my Valentine's Day movies.
Okay.
Granted, there aren't that many of them, but this would double feature real nicely with My Bloody Valentine, the 2009, the reboot.
I could see that.
So I mean, I liked it. It's probably not going to be for everybody, but I like silly slashers. I don't love the ending, but I think the movie is really solid.
We'll definitely talk about that off camera. I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear your take.
And I think like, it had some good deaths. There were a couple I thought were pretty fun.
I mean, the best one, unfortunately, is in the trailer, and it's a two-part death.
Which
It's
one was
one
in the
instrument kills two
Oh, yeah,
people,
yeah. That's a good one.
and I was kind of disappointed because that, like, I was expecting a little bit more. Like, okay, if they showed me that, what are they going to do? But actually, the
Hmm.
best death in the movie is the climactic death in the intro sequence. I thought that was genius, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one a lot. Uh, what did you think?
I feel like definitely the people that wrote this movie, like Ivy Tholen and her books,
Yeah, I'm
uh,
sure.
I feel like that death I just mentioned felt very inspired by Tastes Like Candy in a way. I might be wrong. Maybe it's just great minds think alike. I don't know. I
Hmm.
really, Kirsten and I went to see this just now. We just got back. I enjoyed it. However, so it is 50% at least rom-com and 50% horror.
I think it's probably 50-50, about 50-50.
I think maybe it just the horror like it amps up fast, and so it makes up for time not being horror. And also that's fine. I mean, I, I'm not a rom com guy. I can't say I've
Right, me
I'm
neither.
sure there's some that I've seen that I'm like, yeah, that was it was good. It was enjoyable. It's fine. And none come to mind.
It had enough horror in it though that it didn't tip too much rom-com where I couldn't enjoy it.
Right. Well, there was a stretch after the intro where I was just like, we are going to kill somebody else, right? Because you know
Right.
it was my thing with this movie. It suffers from being cute, almost to the point of
Okay.
like it
I can see that.
reminds me a little bit of oh god, Zoe Deschanel as a personality or an actress, or Wes Anderson's movies, where when you first see them, like Zoe Deschanel, I was like, oh, she's so cute and like she's kind of twee and weird, and then like a year later, I was like, please go the fuck away and never come back. And Wes Anderson's very similar. Like, you know, the first time I saw one of his movies, I was like, wow, that was really interesting. And then like 3 movies later, I was like, just please, I don't ever want to see another one of your movies. Um, and I hate to say this because I really like Freaky, and I did like the first Happy Death Day, although
Hmm.
I hate the second one, the second Happy Death Day so much that I I mean, I don't even think I finished it. I was just like, I'm good.
I don't like the second one either.
It's awful.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
But I definitely think that his tone is all over stuff lately, and I think I'm now like kind of backing away from his tone, where I'm like,
Okay.
uh, it's cool, man. Like he does what he does. He's very good at it. Now, this isn't his movie. This is Josh Rubin's movie. Josh Rubin
Hmm.
previously did Scare Me, a movie that I did not see, even though it was on Shudder for fucking ever, and Werewolves
Werewolf.
Within.
Hmm.
So I like Josh Rubin, and he also has
Yeah,
like I feel like these two met at like a cocktail party backstage at some horror
probably.
award show, and they were like, "Oh, we have similar, you know, kind of a aesthetic," and so it's a match made in heaven. And definitely for their fans, I think this works. And it was an enjoyable movie. I would definitely say, dude, you could do a lot worse. Like I've never seen that Valentine movie with David Boreanaz. Never intend to. Um, this slots in good as because My Bloody Valentine to me is, for whatever reason, it's not a Valentine. I don't think of Valentine's Day when I think of that. I don't know why. Like I
It's
have
all
no
over
idea.
it.
They've gone out of their way. They've put it in the title. There's so many things about it, but for whatever reason, it's slasher first, holiday second. But this is holiday first, slasher second,
Hmm.
and I I think this has the potential to be extremely popular and maybe come back again and again and again and again.
Hmm. Yeah, and for people who like the festive horror, there aren't a lot of Valentine's Day ones. I have a soft spot for Valentine. It's not a good movie, but if you like cheesy slashers from like the 90s, you might like it.
Hmm.
But I I wouldn't expect you to like it. I saw it when I was in high school when it came out at the theater, and it's just kind of always stayed with me.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. That was
Um,
definitely the era where I was like, I'm good with a lot of horror. It bleeds into the 2000s, which you and Ivy and myself have talked about repeatedly. Where
right.
that's kind of the beginning of where I'm like, if it's horror and it's a theater, I'll just skip it for now. That's fine.
And it definitely falls under the, it's got all the pretty people
Yeah.
kind of, and that lighting and everything. Um, but I still like it for what it is. This one, it actually was it's written Hard Eyes was written by Christopher Landon and Philip Murphy and Michael Kennedy. Michael Kennedy wrote It's a Wonderful Knife. And Chris
Yes.
and was and I think he may have also wrote Freaky along with Christopher Landon,
I believe you are correct.
who wrote uh who wrote and directed um Freaky, Happy Death Day. So I mean their their hands are all over it. I like I like what they do. Um I also this had a pretty solid cast of like other genre actors. It's always nice to see Jordana Brewster again. Um I know her from The Faculty. She was great in Random Acts of Violence, and everyone's going to know her from Fast and the Furious. Um, Devon Sawa, who we haven't seen in a while, he's been popping up in things again now that he's older. He's known for the Final Destination movie, Idle Hands, but now that he's older, Black Friday, Hunter x Hunter. The guy who played Jay, Mason Gooding, he's from Scream 5. So,
Okay. I knew I recognized
um,
him.
and Olivia Holt, Allie, the leading lady, she's from Totally Killer.
Who was she in Totally Killer? Oh, got it. She's the younger version of the mother, right? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I
I
knew
believe.
she was another one. I'm like, man, I know I recognize her, and I just couldn't place it.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, it was nice to see all these people that we recognize. Like, I definitely feel like they're playing to the fans. It's not, you know, it's not gonna appeal to everybody, but I feel like this also walks a good line where, like, if you're into horror and your partner isn't, but you want to see something, go out and see something fun for Valentine's Day, even non-horror people can probably still enjoy this for the most part.
I agree.
It's not it's got some gore, but it's not super uber gory, and it kind of plays with that whole couples rom-com thing, but still does it in a snarky
Yeah,
manner where even if you're not into those, you can kind of take it tongue in cheek and it's okay. It kind
yeah,
of walked the line of getting almost too close to going over it for the rom-com thing for me, but it, then it pulled back and went with the violence, and I was all right with it.
yeah. Well said. I would definitely encourage people to go see it. I think it's definitely worth seeing. I think more people will dig the tone. It's funny as fuck. Like
It
it is.
is.
It's like cute cleverness. It was a little much for me, but it I was still super entertained.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the mask is great. It's shot really well. Great
It
sound
is.
design. Um, I think maybe the intro startled me where it was like that terrible country song and that like Instagram couple where I was just like within like 2 minutes I was like, just fucking kill them now, please. Like
And
just put them out of my misery. Kill them right now, please. I mean, and
it was awesome. It
you
was
know
wonderful.
you're aware watching it that they want you to feel that way, right? Because they're
Yeah,
so fucking obnoxious. It's just like, oh my God, fuck you.
right. The whole thing is making, even though it's, playing with the rom-com thing, it's totally making fun of those people
Oh yeah,
through the whole
100%.
thing.
100%. And I mean, it's even making fun of rom-coms in a way where it was like her
It is,
job and like her boss and her whole like ad campaign that like gets her into trouble at the beginning of the movie. I was just like,
which
this
was
is
funny as hell.
it
That
was
ad campaign had me dying.
it yeah, it was weird. It was
Well, especially since I hate those stupid commercials, like those "Every Kiss Begins with K" commercials,
yeah,
and
right.
you see all these happy, ridiculous couples, and all you need is lots of money and diamonds, and it's all gonna be wonderful. Like, it's fucking stupid.
What did
So
what Allie has a great line where she's like, I just work for a company that makes me peddle blood diamonds, like,
right,
harvested in the blood of third world, workers or whatever. Like,
right, something like that.
it was pretty funny. Um, but yeah, I think this is a great Valentine's Day slasher. I mean, I definitely think this could own that holiday. It's funny. It was like, I know they like I am a fan of the 2009 My Bloody Valentine. Again, it just doesn't say Valentine's Day to me. I don't know why.
I don't know
Um
why, because I feel like it uses its holiday well too. Like, it's all over it.
yeah, I
That's the
mean
one I watch every year. I like the original. And the original My Bloody Valentine has a really cool death in it. The thing with the raincoats that never made
mhm.
it, that I wish they had done in this one. And I love both, but I do prefer the 2009.
It didn't quite live up to. I saw it in the theater and I just when I went I was dragged and expected to hate it. I think I've talked about this before where it was like it was like the first real 3D, like the first big 3D movie back with 3D, right? And I
Yeah.
just remember being like, 3D? Are we that desperate? And then I was blown away. And when we watched it a couple years ago, and it was the first time I'd seen it since the theater, and I was like, it didn't quite hold up. It holds up, but it wasn't quite as like great as I thought. But I still say that fucking actress that does that like 5 minute scene hiding running around the truck stop in high heels, butt ass naked, that woman deserved a fucking Oscar because that had to be the hardest thing to shoot.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, oh my God. I was like, oh, this is so hard to watch because I just can't imagine the actors going through this. It's great performance.
Yeah, that was the first 3D I ever saw it as well, except for like the little 10 minutes in Freddy's dead at the end.
Well, so there was, I feel like that was the first, so 3D kind of died, right? So I had seen
Hmm.
3D before, but that was the first one back. And actually, I remember at the time, I believe it's a Rue Morgue, I have it somewhere. There was another movie with Angela Bettis, I believe called Scar, they were filmed concurrently and they were both shot, they were the first movies shot in real D 3D, which is the 3D we all know now since those movies came back. And then, obviously fucking, what's the blue alien movie? Avatar, like,
Avatar? Yeah.
cemented that as a thing. But as far as I know, and periodically I think of it, I don't think any, like, I, Scar never came out. I have no idea
I've
what
never
happened
heard
in
of
that
it.
movie. I remember reading that article after seeing My Bloody Valentine 2009 being like, what, wait, is that still coming? And it just, as far as I know, it never came out. So I don't know. Actually, I should look into that. But point being, I feel like maybe they were going to try to bring My Bloody Valentine back and it just didn't work or whatever. But like this, I think the same way Thanksgiving as a holiday had some attempts at a slasher franchise to like stick with it and it never really worked. And now I feel like, Eli Roth just fucking pinned the tail on the donkey. I feel like this
Hmm.
could do that. And I think more people will like this than not like it. I've never seen anything like Hard Eyes before.
Yeah, it's very different. I really, really dug it. It's not quite as good as Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving
Not
is a
even close.
perfect, it's a perfect slasher. This isn't that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite stick its landing, I don't think. But it was unique and it was a fun ride and I don't care. I hope we get more.
Yeah. Amen. So I would definitely encourage people go see it while it's in the theater, support this movie. I think it's worth seeing and it's timely. So get a box of
Yeah.
chocolates, a teddy bear, a bottle of lube, and go see. Well, I mean, maybe save that for after the movie, but take your significant other out to see Hard Eyes for
Yeah, I
VD.
agree with that. It's a fun one. I think it's a fun time. It's worth seeing in a theater.
Yeah.
And for people who want to do something this Valentine's Day but don't really like Valentine's Day, this is a good option.
Yeah, but just no PDAs because you might end up with a tire iron in the back of your fucking head. So you've been warned. That's Hard Eyes. I'm Sean.
I'm Missy.
Hapless teenagers beset by demons in the woods. A strange new drug that turns art into murder. A can't beat a deal on a new house with a horrifying past. A video game that might usher in the apocalypse. From the demented mind of Sean C. Baker, author of A Collection of Desires, Shadow Play, and Murder Virus, comes Volume 4, collecting Baker's no sleep work along with several never-before published short stories. This 99-cent volume also includes the opening chapter of the author's forthcoming teenage giallo novel, Black Gloves and Broken Hearts, due out later this year.